Welcome to Worlds Collide, a wrestling card podcast for wrestling fans by wrestling fans, featuring Tony Vella from WrestlingTradingCards.com.
This is like a stock market.
And Zhan Morning from Wrestling with Cards on YouTube. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer, I'm just posing the question. Join them as they navigate the world of wrestling cards, helping you build a bigger and better collection and making some money along the way. What's up, wrestling card collectors, wrestling fans, all trading card collectors? Welcome to Worlds Collide. I'm host of not tradingcards.com. I'm going to get this intro wrong every single day. Tony, just talk.
Okay. I'm Tony Vella, and I am the host of WrestlingTradingCards.com. And who are you?
I think I'm wrestling with cards, but I never know from day to day. It just changes.
I'm just going to call you Sybil. Hey, so today's topic is kind of interesting for me, actually. I think today we're going to be talking about tag team wrestling cards.
Absolutely, which I don't think a lot of people talk about.
No, I don't think they are either.
Just stop and think about it. When you see people talking about wrestling cards, it's, we'll talk. Let's say Bret Hart. Oh, it's the Bret Hart rookie card. It's not the Hart Foundation. We maybe the Rockers. We see a little bit with that. Rock and sock connection. You don't see a lot of that.
Don't see that.
Yeah, it's just an interesting dynamic. So we're just going to talk about tag team wrestling cards today. What do you think the difference is as far as collecting tag teams versus singles?
The differences, I guess it really depends on the tag team. I think you made a good point about brought up the Rockers.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys are after that because it has Shawn Michaels on it. So that's kind of unique. There are other Shawn Michaels cards, but they seem to gravitate toward, I think it's a 90 Classic.
Mm-hmm.
That's getting a lot of traction these days, I think.
Yeah, which is not his first technical classic card.
No,
so
it's not.
Whatever, though.
Yeah, it's great. But I don't know. I mean, tag teams usually either completely dissolve and don't have any type of star in it, I think, or someone from that tag team when they split off becomes a bigger star and they go after that single person. That's it.
Yeah, I think and then there's, of course, we like to talk about player collecting. If you're a fan of the Hart Foundation, you want all the Hart Foundation cards. I like to collect Road Warriors. However, I am weird in that most of the time I don't want any of their cards unless it has both of them on it.
See, so that's actually pretty interesting. Like for me, I'm a Demolition fan. So I would personally love to have Demolition cards as opposed to having an Axe or Smash or, God forbid, a Crush card. I would rather just have the two of them together. It's why one of my favorite cards of theirs is from that 90 Classic.
So you're with me then. If you're going to have the tag team card, you'd rather have them both together.
I'd rather have them both.
Okay.
Exactly. Like for me, like I said, Demolition, that card number 6, I think it is, from 90 Classic. That's just a great looking card, a full body shot of Demolition.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too, I think sometimes there are certain tag team cards like what you just said, and we can list off a few that we can think of just imagery of that maybe appeal over others. And I'll use the Rockers. If you look at a lot of their tag team cards, they have really good studio looking shots where there's static image, Marty and Shawn looking right at you. They've got high flying with both of them in there. You could say the same thing with Demolition Road Warriors. They've got a lot of menacing poses where they're both and you just look at it and you're like, man, this is an awesome card. But then you look at some others that, more modern tag teams, New Day, or even going backwards, you find some Four Horsemen stuff where it's just the Brain Busters. And it's just maybe the two of them in an action shot. And you're just like, nah.
Yeah.
So, as opposed to
that's why I like the Classic set. The 90 Classic set is a great set because it features all that. It features in-ring stuff and pose studio shots. It's got a lot of great stuff in that. And it kind of I don't know, maybe it's the design too. It's the simplicity of it really resonates with me too. It's also my era and prior to that too. But I don't know, something about, like you mentioned, New Day. I think New Day's got a couple of pretty cool looking cards from the modern stuff too. Some good, nice studio-ish type of shots of them, I think. No?
I think so, but I think we'll use a New Day. One of my favorite things about the New Day is that you can get triple autos.
That's cool, yeah.
like they have okay looking images, but to have the team with the autograph, all that, like that's fantastic. And then Topps does a really good job. And I know it might be a sticker auto, but they do a really good job with the layout of a lot of their dual autos. And I think that's we don't have that as much with the older cards, but with
No.
the newer cards, I think that's fantastic. Like I don't want, if I'm a New Day fan, I don't personally want a Kofi Kingston or Xavier Woods, but if I can get all three of them together,
Yeah.
and I guess that kind of goes back to my Road Warriors thing where I just want all of them on the same card in the same image.
Yeah, that, and for me also Bulldog. I like the British Bulldog stuff. Like it's one of my favorite cards is from that Circle K set. It's simple.
Yeah.
It's just a simple, studio shot of them basically. It's also one of the. I think it's the only one that's horizontal. The rest are all vertical.
Yeah. Now that you say that,
I think maybe there's another one in there. It's one of the few that's a horizontal card.
And that's another thing you brought up. I think a lot of the times the tag team cards are just more simple, and less is more for me. And a lot of times, like let's look at some of the most valuable cards: 82 and 83 All Stars.
Yep.
85 All Stars. 87 Tops.
85 Tops.
85 Tops and 87 Tops now, which we thought was junk.
Yep.
But look at those images. There are so many just like static. I'm gonna call them like JC Penney photo studio style.
Right.
Like it's just like the wrestlers and a backdrop, and it's so simple. But like sometimes less is more. Like I prefer that stuff over action shots.
Yeah, I agree. I those are my favorite ones of these wonderful studio shots of just like even that 90 class where you had the whole Hogan with his hand out it's just, it looks great. It's just a classic shot. But I also think that tag team cards don't typically translate well. I don't know. I mean, Heart Foundation is a good example. Demolition, Road Warriors, good examples. But then sometimes tag teams just don't work out. I mean, no one's clamoring for Techno 2000. Techno Team 2000.
Yeah, that's. But even like, I'll use like a Hogan that was at 95 main event has Hogan and Savage on it. Like it's got those two and Jimmy Hart. Like I think it's a fantastic card and nobody talks about it.
It is a great card actually.
So then it goes back to like, okay, well, our tag team card's not worth as much because it almost devalues them because it has both stars and not just one star. It's just an interesting discussion.
Or if one person is the bigger star. I mean, do you go after the Rockers card because you're a Marty Jannetty fan? No disrespect to Marty Jannetty, but I mean, you're going after because it has Shawn Michaels on it.
Yeah.
I mean, Heart Foundation is interesting too. I mean, again, no disrespect to Jim Neidhart's like that, but who are you going after for that one? Are you going for Bret Hart?
Yeah, and then most of the people don't even look at those. They're just looking at that 87 Tops Bret Hart by himself.
Yeah.
So it's interesting where the market goes, but let's talk about some of our favorite tag team cards. And I've got a short list, but I'll let you go ahead.
Well, I already told you what my demolition Bulldogs. One from Bulldog. Also, there's a demolition one from the Quaker Oat Dips.
Yeah,
I love that one too. It's a great looking image. Anything that doesn't have, again, no disrespect, anything that doesn't have Crush on it, because demolition to me is just axe and smash. Although I think I tweeted not too long ago. I tweeted a picture of a tag team or those puffy stickers.
Oh yeah,
and it had all three guys on it, which I'd never seen a card of all three of them on there. And I thought, okay, this is kind of cool, unique, but I still prefer my axe and smash.
Could you imagine if they would have made a tag team and then the tag team had a card of Marty Jannetty and Crush?
I think someone should custom make one now just to have it. Yeah, I would own it just for fun.
If you're listening out there and you can do custom cards, we want what would we call this?
It's a good name. What would we call that names like that?
You could be super generic and do the Demolition Rockers.
Demolition Rockers, yeah.
It's like so lame, but
Rockalition.
Oh, there's a good one. Yeah. So what else you got as far as anything that stands out?
Those are my favorite ones. I mean, anything that pretty much had demolition back in the day was good for me. The Rockers one are cool because I kind of like the Rockers back in the day. So I do kind of gravitate towards that classic. There's some good ones in the Merlin sets too.
Yes, I agree.
There's some really good ones from the Merlin ones. And the Heart Foundation's always good too from those sets. God, who else would be? I guess like 98. I love the it's a faction card basically, the DX one.
Yeah, and that's another thing we should talk about because we're talking about tag teams. We should
Yep.
probably just talk about factions too. One of
Yeah,
my
factions are good ones.
one of my favorite faction cards is the Wonderama Four Horsemen card. It's
That's a
got
nice card.
all of them and JJ Dillon in it.
Yep.
Like, if you ever wanted to just get a snapshot of the Four Horsemen, there you go.
It's a great shot.
And that's another thing I like about tag team, and we'll throw faction cards in there, is like you look at it and it's like almost like a package deal that's a moment in time.
Yep.
Like
because so many other memories stem from seeing that, going, oh, that team, man, I remember them in this match versus that match and this match and that match. And you start having memories of a lot of classic matches involving different members of those teams.
Exactly. That's exactly. And then, breaking off and then coming back. And yeah, like you hit the nail right on the head with that. Yeah. That's exactly what I think about with these. And I'll just jump into mine. One of my first ones shouldn't be a surprise, although maybe it is because nobody can find these things. 1997 ECW Japanese release that has the Eliminators on it.
Yeah.
I love the Eliminators, and like they don't have any cards. Like I think Perry Saturn has maybe a Leaf autograph card, and
he's got a couple cards, and he's got a couple cards in WCW as Saturn.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Other than that auto, I think doesn't he have an auto in that one? In the tops
I think
set?
So. I'd have to look it up, but I think so.
But no tag team cards, no John Cronus cards. It's just that's the only tag team card of them that exists, and it's just such an awesome image from such an awesome looking team. And of course, now that I think about it, my favorite cards are from guys who didn't have one guy outshining the other one. They were like even, like the Eliminators. I guess Saturn eventually went on, but as a team, when you watch them both together, like one didn't stand out over the other. My other two are 86 Carnation, Road Warriors. That's such a fantastic card. And then
that's a great card too.
The 88 Wonderama, that's card number 341. It's Paul Ellering and the Road Warriors, and it's a horizontal card. Those are just my favorite. And like when you look at the Road Warriors, it's just a powerhouse team. Like Hawk and Animal were kind of equals. And I don't know. There's something about the Road Warriors whenever I see them both together on the same card. And
well, they babysat you.
That's true. I keep forgetting that.
They're like family to you.
I can't remember what show I'm hosting ever anyway, so.
This is true. Because you have too much going on, man. We got to simplify you.
I don't know. I don't want to get too simple. So yeah, those are my favorite tag team cards, and it's interesting because I just don't look like let's go back to that 90 classic. I'm not looking at really any of the singles cards of either of those. So that's another interesting aspect. Are you looking at singles of Demolition at all in any sets?
I don't, because it's usually someone doing an elbow drop or something like that, or just yelling in the ring. But there's something about those studio shots of them in all their gear. Like I like to see them in their gear. And when they're in the ring, they're kind of not in that gear.
I guess maybe because they're portraying like larger than life characters. Complete gimmick and everything.
Yeah, because like I said, I think don't quote me, I think it's like card number 5 or 6, I think it's 6 or something like that in that classic set. I'd have to go look it up. That's from head to toe, I believe. And they're just in all that freaking gear. They just got the face paint on. They're not wearing the headgear, but they have it in their hand, I believe. And they're standing there and all that spikes. It's just an awesome image.
So last kind of thing I'll touch on, and this is kind of on the spot. Are there any tag team like chase cards that you can think of?
Tag team chase cards.
There's a specific tag. The only thing I can think of, and it's not even a chase, but it's something that people want, is that Market Scene 89 Rockers.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider it a chase. That's part of the base set anyways from that, but chase wise, well, the TNA set from 2004 from Pacific did a whole tag team chase set, and one of them has CM Punk on it.
That's right. Yeah,
the Gathering, I think it's called.
Interesting. I wonder if like the CM Punk collectors look at that, like if they're a player collector, of course they're going to have it, but I wonder if they look at that as like kind of on the same par with his regular singles cards from that.
Because that's considered his rookie card is in that set. And he's in there, and you can get two versions of that, right? The regular version and the red foil stamp parallel version of the base card. And then he's also has a chase card, which is part of the tag team set in there.
Do you like one over the other? Like
I'd rather have the single card in that sense, like that, because I'm not a fan of the other guy in that whoever that was in the gathering.
That's that's another interesting thing too. Like, what if people like Shawn Michaels and hate Marty Jannetty?
Yeah, it's kind of what I was asking about, like a little bit on that one too, going, well, I'm not a Jannetty fan, so why would I want to collect that card then, I guess?
And then you have to think, well, this is considered his rookie card or whatever. But, or maybe I'll tell you one thing I've seen is a lot of the dual autos in the Leaf set. I'm like, oh, well, this guy, I really like him, but he's paired with this other guy, and I just really don't care. Like, and then I go look at the value, and actually a lot of times the autographs are lower value with somebody else on the card than they are just the guy by himself.
That says something right there, I think, right?
I know, yeah. So that's, tag team cards in general are just such an interesting dynamic.
It's going back to that Pacific set. So the desired card in that is the CM Punk. That's everybody. That's probably the top. Would you agree? That's the top tier from that set. Is that,
yeah, his singles card.
His singles from that. Mm-hmm. So the other card of his, I looked it up. The other card of his is the tag team one, and it's got a guy named Julio De Niro.
Yeah, I think he wrestled in ECW during their dying days.
Yeah. So, but who? I mean.
Yeah. Exactly.
Am I going to go after that card now? Be like, I really wish the other guy wasn't on there. Could I be a cool looking CM Punk card?
Yeah. And
it's a studio shot card.
Yeah. I think if you're a player collector, you got to have it. But outside of that, yeah, I'm picking his singles card every time. And I actually hear oftentimes in sports cards, like people say like there's a Tom Brady rookie, but it's got some other jabroni on there with him. Or there's a LeBron card and it's got some other guy that didn't last in the league for a year. Same concept.
Say that about that Magic Johnson, Larry Bird one. Come on.
Well, that's like, honestly, I want to take that and I would put that in the same parallel as like our Four Horsemen faction card. When it's one picture that just has everything together that you know of, these legends, whether it's wrestling or sports, like that just says it all. So that's one thing I really like about tag team cards is that if you're a fan of the right team, you can kind of get the total package of everything they meant to you and all of that nostalgia in one thing.
Also in that set, by the way, I'm stuck on, I'm looking it up. So they had, it's always called The Gathering with CM Punk and that Julio De Niro guy. But you also had 3 Live Crew in there.
Yep, yeah.
So, I mean, you had Conan, BG James, and Ron Killings in that, you had America's Most Wanted.
I always liked those guys.
I have a funny story about that. I'll tell you about some other time. But then you had the red shirt security and black shirt security. Then you also had Simon Diamond and Johnny Swinger.
Yep.
It's just, I don't know. Tag teams are weird. I guess if you're a fan of that tag team, you're going to go after that. I don't know if that translates to people who want to go after individual people. Sometimes guys only do well because they were in a tag team. You're just known as a tag team star and you do well in that dynamic. But then they try to push you off like they always do. They break those tag teams up, try to push them in the singles market, and they just don't do well.
I think a couple things. I think tag team cards of the tippy top guys are always going to be, so, the best example I can use is Shawn Michaels. I think those early Rockers cards are always going to be valuable because it has him on it. And I don't see a lot of people criticizing the card because it has Jannetty on it.
What about Rock and Sock Connection?
I don't understand. Those are 2 popular guys.
2 legends, man.
Yeah. Especially when you can get like some relic cards of those guys. That's even better. And maybe that's the next thing to pop off. I don't know. And then I think faction cards and cards like the Road Warriors Demolition, Rock and Roll Express, tag teams that were made as tag teams or pretty much tag teams their whole career. I think those will be, pretty valuable going forward and be sought after. That's about all I got. Hopefully somebody's hearing this and they're going to be able to find some of those 1997 ECW Japanese cards and hook me up with them.
and I'm interested in hearing. I hope that anybody listening to this will kind of comment and let us know what were their favorite tag team cards.
And where can you comment on this? Find us on social media. Tony, tell them where you are.
I'm everything wrestlingtradingcards.com. But if you want to be specific though on Twitter, which is where I seem to do most of my talking, I guess. It's basically a weird name, Wrestling Trade I2. Just look for wrestling trading cards and you'll find me.
You got to hate the gimmick infringement people stealing from you.
Yeah, I know. That's my fault. I take all the blame. I'm late to the game.
And you can find me, Zhan Morning, Wrestling with Cards on YouTube, all over social. Just search my name. Thanks for checking out the show. Make sure to share it everywhere. Get more people involved. Let us know what you think about the show. What topics do you want to hear discussed? And what do you think about tag team cards and any of our other stuff we've talked about? Just please let us know. We love the feedback. Until
Love
next
it.
time, see you later.
Out.